The Guardian did some investigative reporting on the Trump empire, and look at what they found. Revealed reality of life working in an Ivanka Trump clothing factory. Workers complain of verbal abuse, impossible targets, and poverty pay so bad they have to live away from their children. Damn. The reality of working in a factory making clothes for Ivanka Trump's label has been laid bare, with employees speaking of being paid so little they cannot live with their children, anti-union intimidation, and women being offered a bonus if they don't take time off while menstruating. The Guardian has spoken to more than a dozen workers at the fashion labels factory in Subang, Indonesia, where employees describe being paid one of the lowest minimum wages in Asia, and there are claims of impossibly high production targets and sporadically compensated overtime. The workers' complaints come only a week after labor activists investigating possible abuses at a Chinese factory that makes Ivanka Trump's shoes disappeared into police custody. The activist group claimed they had uncovered a host of violations at the plant, including salaries below China's legal minimum wage, managers verbally abusing workers, and violations of women's rights. In the Indonesian factory, some of the complaints are similar, although the wages paid to employees in Subang are much lower. So, that's wild, by the way. You have you have officials who are investigating Ivanka's factories in China, and they disappear. Nobody knows where they are. Wow. Could it be that the Chinese government doesn't want that stuff, the labor violations, uncovered, because then it gets back to Trump and Trump gets pissed off and he takes some sort of policy reaction against China? I wonder. And look, here's the main point of this story. Trump is a guy who has repeatedly said, he did it on the campaign trail all the time. First of all, TPP, we're not going to do TPP. We're outsourcing good American jobs. We've got to keep the jobs here. We're going to renegotiate NAFTA. We're going to renegotiate NAFTA. China, currency manipulator. Bad, sad. We're going to make sure we redo our trade deals. We're going to benefit the American worker. The forgotten man will never be forgotten again. This is stuff he said. Not only is he not fixing it, even in his inner circle, he hasn't fixed it. So, hey, Don, you don't want U.S. jobs to be outsourced anymore? Here's where you start. Stop letting your family outsource them, and you stop outsourcing them. Trump does business in at least 12 different countries. He's outsourced his own jobs. So we're supposed to believe you that you're against outsourcing when you personally outsource, Ivanka outsources, your family outsources, and you're not even outsourcing and then paying the people a decent, livable wage. You're paying them so poorly that some of them can't even afford to live with their kids, and there's labor violations out the wazoo. So he claims he's going to fix these problems for the entire country and for all the corporations that outsource their jobs. He hasn't even fixed it for himself and his family. So he is bullshitting you. He is lying. All he does is talk a good game. He's a well-known, well-trained, practiced con artist. So he knows how to say the right things to get people to go, oh yeah, Daddy Trump gonna look out for me. And then he doesn't do anything to change it. You would think, if you really care that much about jobs in the U.S. and not outsourcing jobs, wouldn't you tell Ivanka, like, hey, sweetheart, why are you outsourcing jobs to Indonesia? Why don't you have your goods made in the U.S.? Well, Kyle, it costs a lot more. Yeah, it would cost a lot more for all the manufacturing jobs to come back to the U.S., but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. We should do it. Have good-paying jobs in the U.S., and yes, the price for a fucking Ivanka shirt might go up a little bit, but who gives a fuck? At least you're paying people a good wage. No, they do the same thing. They're doing the same thing that Trump rails against all the fucking time. And this should clearly stop immediately. I would argue not only should you not have oppressive jobs anymore that pay people less than a livable wage, bring those jobs back to the U.S. Bring them back to the U.S. We covered the story where they went into a Trump hotel, looked at everything in the hotel, all the furniture, all the goods, everything. And the majority of the things in the hotel weren't made in the U.S., even though, again, he loves to rant and rave about how we got to bring jobs back here and keep jobs here. And so, okay, you stop outsourcing your jobs. You stop buying goods that are made overseas. You tell your daughter to stop using fucking labor in Indonesia where they get paid less than a living wage. It's just so gross that he just gets away with all this stuff as his rhetoric is the opposite. We got to hold him accountable. And you have to know that that's the thing about Trump. You just can't trust a word he says. Because he speaks out of both sides of his mouth, so he'll be on both sides of any given issue. But even when he says the right things, his actions prove the opposite, and this is another example of it right here.